What's up? What's up? Apparently, we're having a Black Friday sale already.
I guess so. Yeah.
Be Live wants us to do a bunch of sales according to all these new layouts. What's this? What's that?
Ooh.
Ooh, sale, 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 and then sale,
Ooh.
sale, sale.
I was wondering. I was like, I saw that pop up on the screen, and I'm trying to think, like, what do we have for sale?
It's like I go to bring it up, and they've added those three things for whatever reason. Apparently, they're wanting people to just do a live sales or something for Black Friday. Sorry, we don't have nothing to sell. I mean, unless you want to buy us specifically, but we'll give you a great discount.
That's true. That we're pretty used. Pretty used.
Very used and ran up, yes. There are tires that have no tread that still have more mileage than we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's up, everybody? Welcome to Kiss Meets the podcast. Happy Friday. It didn't even feel like a Friday today for some reason, but I hope everyone's doing great. Welcome to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Eli Clausen.
And I am Luke Neely.
And we are here today to discuss best and worst Kiss songs. More on that later. Hopefully you guys will pop in and join along, and we want to get your votes and thoughts as always. We want to send a what's up, David? Good to see you.
How's it going?
We want to send good luck wishes to Javier. Tisk for not watching this week, but for good reasons. Hopefully you were able to land that collection you talked about, and of course, if you do, you owe us at least half of it since you didn't watch the show.
Yeah.
So it's only fair. I'll be sending you my address and Luke's address, and yes, we will be collecting. So
yeah, I think it's only a fair trade-off at that point.
Absolutely, and you have to drive it to us. So no, but good luck, and hopefully you got the stuff, and hopefully you share it with us in the group, and definitely interested to see what you get. Good luck with that. Today is officially the release date for the Destroyer 45th anniversary big box set. I am anxiously awaiting mine to arrive. I was hoping it was going to arrive today. As of right now, it has not. Hoping that it maybe will. I don't even know who's shipping it, or who's delivering it. I don't even know if it has been shipped. So I'm keeping fingers crossed that maybe by chance it might still arrive today, or maybe hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully no later than Monday or so. I don't want to wait too long on this damn thing. I know people's already been getting it, and I'm definitely excited to get it and check it out. Definitely want to do a review on it at some point on the show, and so yeah, if anyone out there has already gotten it, let us know what version you got, what if you've already listened, what your thoughts were, all that good stuff, and so very cool. That's really about the only thing news-wise this week. Fairly slow week again in the Kiss world, so yeah, so happy Destroyer 45th anniversary day. Cool, very cool release, and hopefully we're going to get more. Alrighty, so let's do our usual catching up stuff here, and then getting into this thing.
Yeah, all right, so a couple of comments on the last video we want to run through real quick. Obviously, just this is the YouTube thing. You can click on our YouTube thing and look at some past episodes. Last week, we had one of just about one of my personal favorite things that we've done for a long time, a Dream Bruce Kulick set list.
That was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And we did get a comment from Thomas, guy who comments all the time, Rain in Adamstown. He's been around for a long time. Good to see Thomas. Who gave us his Dream Bruce Kulick set too, which is pretty cool. We'll just run through it real quick. He also gave us 15 songs. He did starting the show with Escape from the Island, running right into Creatures of the Night, and then Unholy. Then an Ace medley consisting of Rip It Out, Rock Soldiers, Talk to Me, Hard Times, Shock Me. Right into Forever. And then a Peter medley with That's the Kind of Sugar, Hooked on Rock and Roll, In Trouble Again, I Can't Stop the Rain, and Nothing to Lose. Then Master and Slave, and then Killer. Then a Paul medley with Tonight You Belong to Me, I Just Wanna, A Million to One, Tomorrow, and Nowhere to Run. Wow. Running that into Sword and Stone. We got a Gene medley here, which is Charisma, Radioactive, Naked City, Only You, and See You in Your Dreams.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I know it. Turn on the Night after that. And then they do an Alive 2 medley with All American Man, Rockin' in the USA, Larger Than Life, and Rocket Ride. And then the last two he said are an encore. The first being Thrills in the Night, and then ending the whole show out with I.
Oh, wow.
That is a killer set right there.
That truly is a dream set, man. Good job. He really went all out.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I love the fact that he went with that Shock Me idea, because I think we discussed that too. Like, how cool would that be just for the hell of it? Bruce just does it.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah, that was an amazing. I tried to stay away from the medleys. I know Bruce is a big fan of the medleys, but I felt like if I open myself to being able to put medleys in here, I'm just gonna find a way to include every song, you know. So I just stayed all the way away from it. But
absolutely,
that was a great usage to have the medleys of each of the four original guys, and then the picks are awesome.
Yeah, I still want to take the time to sit and listen to some of those sets, you know, and see how they kind of mesh together. I still have that in mind. I'm gonna have to. Did you jotted down everybody all the lists, right? So I'll have to get that from you at some point.
Definitely.
Once I get a chance to sit down and do that.
Yeah, definitely would be fun. We also have a comment from Anthony X. Very good to see Anthony. We haven't.
Hey, yeah, good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him for a while. Of course, he guested on the show a little while ago, a few times. Lots of fun talking with him. Anthony says, on the topic of backing vocals, I don't have a problem with Paul's lip syncing. Truth be told, at this point, in their almost 50 years, Kiss's entire show, vocals and instruments can all be a backing track, and I'd still pay to see them. I'm there for the visual experience and to have fun. I'm not worried about how well they can carry a note or how well or fast they can play their instruments. As a fan, Kiss doesn't owe me anything and have nothing more to prove to anyone, especially fans. They've given me so much of my 44 years of being a fan, so now let me give them something back, and that's grace. The grace to let these 70-year-old men do whatever they have to do on stage to make things easier on themselves, including backing track vocals, drum triggers, wigs, slower movements, etc. I just saw them in Phoenix, and they kicked ass. No complaints. Bottom line, I'm grateful to see them in any capacity, even performing to a backing track. Sign me up. Great show, guys.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great to hear from you, Anthony. You know, he's been busy for a while. That's why you guys haven't seen him or heard from him much on here. I believe he was, messing with school and doing all that good stuff. So sounds like maybe he's finally, getting some time now. So hopefully he'll be able to come back on at some point. Also, a shout out to another guy that you were starting to see regularly again, and then he kind of disappeared again, but also for a private reason. Chuck Hoskins, he's recently been back in touch, so I think he's getting close to possibly wanting to return at some point soon, hopefully. And again, like I told him back when it happened, whenever you feel ready, you let us know. So, just say the word. So hopefully we'll be seeing both of those guys' faces again before long.
Absolutely. Definitely so. All right, so that's all for comments. Jumping over now to our typical PSA. If this just so happens to be your first ever episode of Kiss Meets the Podcast, definitely jump over to Facebook. You can search Kiss Meets the Podcast and send us a like or a follow or a Peruvian hooker or whatever it is Facebook is doing these days. Has to be Peruvian. I'll throw that out there. Nothing else. Peruvian or nothing. No reason. Also, we have a Facebook group you can check out. It's called Kiss Meets the Podcast group. You can search that online and jump in there right now. Guess what? You used to have to request access, and even though we approved everyone and it didn't really matter that much, Facebook has changed that now to Peruvian hookers. And all you have to do is click the Peruvian hooker button in the corner, and you are in the group. In fact, I've even been told a rumor that you don't have to do anything with Peruvian hookers. You can just get right in. So definitely get into Kiss Meets the Podcast group on Facebook. Lots of cool things get shared into there all the time. Awesome pictures of Javier Boster's Kiss collection, which is like absolutely massive. You don't want to miss that. Posts about what we plan to do on the show each week. And honestly, the main thing that we do in there is we host these massive Kiss song tournaments. So right now we're right in the middle of one. We've completed 2 in the recent past. We are now doing one that is going to be huge. It's going to take forever. There's just over 400 Kiss songs involved in this. Studio songs, live songs, bonus tracks, even a couple of demos, some remixes that were on compilations, just about anything you could want in 1v1 matches till we get to one final winner. So we post 6 brand new matches every week. We've got results to talk about from last week and 6 new matches that were posted just today. So let's review some results. The polls that ended today, we had Got to Choose from Alive versus Hard Luck Woman from Double Platinum. And Hard Luck Woman took that with 53%, just barely getting it.
Wow, ever Got to Choose from Alive. Wow.
I know. And I got to admit, I'm disappointed. I hate how long it takes the drums to come in on that Double Platinum version of Hard Luck Woman. I was, what do you do? We also had I Was Made for Loving You from Dynasty versus Love's a Deadly Weapon from Asylum. Naturally, I Was Made for Loving You took that with 64%. We had Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell from Hot in the Shade versus Within from Psycho Circus. Within takes it 62%. We did Black Diamond from Double Platinum versus Love 'Em and Leave 'Em from Rock and Roll Over. Black Diamond took that with 61%.
Wow, again, yeah. A lot of differences there, but I guess, Black Diamond hands down.
Yeah. Also did I Still Love You from Alive 3 versus God of Thunder from Alive 4. And I was very glad to see here that I Still Love You managed to edge it out 56%.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. I assume that means that people are paying attention to the version of the song that we're talking about. We also had Hotter Than Hell, the re-recording from Sonic Boom Disc 2 versus Magic Touch from Dynasty. Magic Touch takes it with 75%.
Nice.
Okay, and that's it for results. So yeah, we did post 6 brand new matches just a couple hours ago, so it is not anywhere near too late. You have this whole week to jump over to Kiss Meets the Podcast group on Facebook and vote on your favorite song. All these matches are randomly generated, so if the matchups seem a little weird or wonky to you, that's why it really seemed like the only fair way to do this, to make everything completely fair, randomly generated matchups. Also, the big thing about this particular tournament that we're doing is versions, right? It's not just the song, it's the particular version of the song denoted in there. So all of this stuff is on YouTube, guys. Don't be afraid. If you're unfamiliar with the version of the song that you're looking at, just jump over to YouTube real quick and give it a quick listen. Most Kiss songs are 3 to 5 minutes. Give it a quick listen.
And no, he didn't say virgins. We're not doing virgins. Unless you're Peruvian. We'll make an exception.
That's true. We always have to.
So now when you go to the group, the only question it's going to ask, are you a Peruvian hooker? Yes or no? If yes, are you a virgin? That's the only questions that are asked to join our group.
Very non-invasive.
Sue us, Yeah.
Oh man! All of our longtime listeners are going to be like, "What happened? What's going on?"
Somebody skips and it just lands right on that point, and they're like, "What? What are they talking about?"
Oh, it's too good. Oh man! So yeah, a lot of these are kind of weird. All right, there's a lot of people who, for very good reason, have not heard the re-recordings on Sonic Boom Disc 2. You can find that stuff on YouTube if you're unfamiliar. Same with the Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. Those songs are remixed. A lot of the songs on Double Platinum and Killers were remixed. Always safe to go listen and make sure that there's not something weird that they changed about your favorite song before you vote for it.
I will say with the matches this week, other than like maybe 2, I felt like most of them ended up being fairly boring, at least in my opinion. Like just the types of songs that for what they are represented, but again, that's the draw, so can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see what people go for.
Yeah.
So the ones you can vote on right now are Mr. Speed from Rock and Roll Over versus Shandy from Alive 4. Escape from the Island from Music from the Elder versus Detroit Rock City from Sonic Boom Disc 2.
See, that right there is just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, what? Calling Dr. Love from Alive 2 versus Black Diamond from Alive. That could be interesting.
Yes.
Interestingly, Calling Dr. Love again, but this time from Smasher Thrashes and Hits versus Dirty Livin' from Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like Dr. Love's going to lose both of those. I'm curious. Reason to Live from Crazy Nights versus Rock and Roll All Night from the Millennium Concert. And finally, Rock Bottom from Dress to Kill versus Danger Us from Sonic Boom. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of Sonic Boom yet. We've seen a lot of Sonic Boom Disc 2.
Yeah, that's weird. There has been a lot of that Disc 2. Seems like there's at least 2 of them every week, you know?
Right. Surely we're getting to the end of it.
Yeah. It's like, good Lord, haven't we run out of those songs yet?
Yeah. Yes. So we are, like I said, this tournament is huge. Do not worry about jumping in the middle. You haven't missed anything. One of these that we just posted today was match 100 for the first round, but that's only halfway. That's only halfway through round 1. So
that's so crazy, man. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago that we started this tournament. So here, match 100 already. Here we, man.
I know it. It's great. So there's something like 200 and some matches in this first round, and then of course we continue to whittle it down until we get down to one single song. So you have still got this entire tournament to go.
Very cool. Yeah, get in there and vote like we say every week. So.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so that basically catches us all up then?
I think so.
All right, so what we decided to do this week, in recent shows, we went through and did, best songs of the 70s, 80s, 90s, all that stuff. Well, we decided, okay, let's, again, make it harder on ourselves and everybody. Let's pick our 10 favorite songs total out of the entire catalog, and then also our 10 least favorite songs, or I guess you could say versions, because this kind of does include anything literally this time. We're not sticking just to the studio albums and things like that, so it's definitely all over the board. So definitely another task to try to come up with these. I tell you, I felt like I had more trouble picking my 10 least favorite than I did my favorite.
Yeah. See, I could pretty easily come up with 10 or so songs that I'm a little about, but then deciding like how I hate them in relation to each other, that was totally difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to like really, and then even for the favorite stuff to like really kind of think like, okay, it's not so much like, best song on the album. It's more like, okay, what songs are the ones that really, really, give you that, good feeling or whatever, you just really catches you every time you hear it, or you feel like listening the most, so then you really got to think that way too. So we decided to do that this week. So anyone in the chat, as always, we want to hear your choices as well. If you happen to be watching afterwards, obviously go ahead and leave some comments. We want to hear your guys' opinions in the comments as well.
Absolutely.
And this will be fun. Javier can give us his opinions while he's on the way to give us some merchandise, and so that'll help the drive that he has to make up here. So, all right. So, what do you want to start? You want to start with the favorites or the least favorites first?
Let's start with least, I think.
Okay, and then go 10-1 instead of busting it right off the bat.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. In fact, we could do 10-1 for both lists for sure.
Yes, definitely. All right. So yeah, starting with the 10 least favorite songs of all time, and so my number 10 comes off of Sonic Boom, and it's Hot and Cold. Just a song that I don't really care for. I prefer not to hear it. It's a song that I never go to if I put something on from Sonic Boom, if I'm not listening to the album itself. I just feel like those lyrics are just kind of hokey and, little A-B. It's like, could have came up with something better than that. I mean, so I'll just leave it at that. Number 10, Hot and Cold for me.
Nice. Number 10 for me was a little bit out of left field, but Nothing Can Keep Me From You.
Oh yeah.
For me, that is one that I was really excited about. Of course, I wasn't aware of it when it was new, but when I started digging into the Kiss discography, of course, all I listened to was the core discography for a long time. So to find out that there were extra songs dotted around here and there that were a little harder to find, and I really enjoyed the production quality of the Psycho Circus era and a lot of those songs. So when I heard, hey, there's another one and it's a Paul song, awesome. And even just as recently as when we did the Extras album at the end of our discography review, and this one was one there, I'm just so consistently disappointed with this one. It feels too obvious. It feels not. It feels like I finally found my way. It doesn't feel like Kiss. It's just like Paul sang a different band song or something. So it's not a song that I. If I hit the whole discography, I'll skip that one.
Yeah, and it sounds like another song that could have easily been on his solo album in '78. And yeah, I remember the hype around that when it came out. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is possibly Paul's best vocal performance ever," and this and that. And of course, again, I'm sure it was the same kind of feedback as pretty much the solo albums got. Is we expected something different when we heard there was a new Kiss song on this soundtrack. Not what we got. And, for that matter, they even screwed up and forgot to put the correct re-recording of Detroit Rock City on the soundtrack and put the original version on there. And it was supposed to be that version that was on in the movie, the re-recording, which, they dropped the ball on that too somehow.
Of course. Yeah.
But, so good number 10 there. Number 9 for me, we actually just kind of discussed this a little bit. Comes off a double platinum and Black Diamond. Don't get me wrong, obviously Black Diamond itself, amazing song, one of the best Kiss songs. When it comes to if we were doing a list of, say, probably the most thematic Kiss songs, this would damn near be number 1 for me. When you hear Black Diamond, I just picture that, perfect image of Kiss and what they were all about at the beginning. But this version, to me, just it takes a lot of the balls out of it. Those extra little, the extra, what do you call it? Whatever they added to the vocals, it's just got that extra, what is it, like chorus or something? I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's just too different, and then the way they do the ending, where it goes back into the acoustic section and everything, it's just too weird. So yeah, that's my number 9.
Absolutely, yeah. That's. I had to stop myself from putting a lot of the double platinum versions on here. It's nice to have a Detroit Rock City without the intro, and it's nice to have all the little extra bits they added into Dr. Love. But just about all the other remixes on double platinum just freaking ruin them.
Yep.
My number 9 is Rock Me Baby.
Ooh.
Now, you guys know we talk up the Peter Criss solo album a lot on this channel, and for good reason. It's not just us trying to go against the grain. We both do really enjoy that album. This song for me is just kind of forgettable. It's still a good song, but it's in the grand scheme of things, one that if he had replaced with something else on his solo album, wouldn't even noticed.
That's a great point, because that's probably the one song that if you told me right now to tell you how it goes, I wouldn't remember.
Yeah, that's actually how I chose it, because I thought about that. I was like, well, let's see what's going on the Peter solo album, and I looked down the track listing, and this was the only song title that I couldn't think of how it went as soon as I saw the title.
Yeah. I kind of wished I could have thrown in that New Georgia on My Mind, just because of how disappointed I was with it.
Right.
David with a couple picks there. Number 10, Finally Found My Way, and his number 9, Acrobat. That's a good one.
Nice, yeah.
I do admit I get kind of bored with that too. I mean, technically that was on the box set, so yeah, I would count that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
they did good shortening that to Love Theme from Kiss. They took the
yeah,
good bits and didn't repeat them to death.
absolutely. All right, number 8 for me comes off of Monster, and it's Back to the Stone Age. Um, just another stinker from Gene on the one of the newer albums and the last album for that matter. Again, just no idea what the song's about. I just don't get into it every time I hear it. I'm not a big fan of the lyrics. Just once again, to me, that and Hot and Cold are almost the same, just as how cheesy and hokey they are. And it's again just not a song that I never put on unless happen to be listening to the whole album, and I'll let it play. But other than that, I never sit down and like, man, I feel like hearing Stone Age, man. So,
Yeah,
nope, no, thank you.
definitely agreed. Number 8 for me is Save Your Love.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know anybody who's watched this show a lot knows that I rag on Ace a little bit. And it's just a personal thing for me. I don't care for some of the things that he does on guitar a lot, and I especially don't care for his vocals except in certain situations. And this song has a lot of the vocal things that he does that I don't like. The almost talking through the verse vocals gets kind of annoying. And then my other just favorite thing of Aces is to take the song title and repeat it over and over and over and over, and that's the whole chorus, which is, something we'll be talking about again later on my list. I'm sure everybody knows.
Which one you referring to, David? Stone Age or Save Your Love? But all right, number 7. Oh, Stone Age, yeah. Hey, that's the beauty of it, man. We all have our own opinions. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not ragging anybody if they do like the song. It's I can listen to it if I'm listening to the whole album. I definitely, like I've said before, I never skip over any songs if I'm listening to an album. But it's just one that I don't choose to by itself. Unfortunately, it's But yeah, I mean, no worries if you love this song. That's awesome, dude. I hope it's on your top 10 of your favorite songs when we get to that. So
Yeah, and you know what? It's worth mentioning at this point that just because these are our like least favorite songs, I mean, least favorite is the right way to put it. It's not.
yeah,
Here's the 10 Kiss songs we freaking hate.
yeah. I mean, we're trying not to really bash them or trash them because it's not really like that. It's just we don't prefer these songs.
Right.
Escape from the Island is David's number 8.
Got it.
Nice. My number 7 happens to be Escape from the Island. So there you go, David. We can agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, kind of rehashing a little bit of what I said back when we did The Elder again. I just felt like this instrumental was kind of pointless, and to me, it doesn't have anything to do with the story. I have no idea what they're trying to tell in the story, since it is an instrumental. It just kind of felt like they just threw it together in the studio, and there's nothing real like super cool about it, versus Car Jam or whatever that, I forget the name that it was at the time before it became Car Jam. But they could have used that on there, or I'm sure maybe some other stuff that was laying around at the time. But yeah, to me it just felt like filler, and just never been a big fan. I personally like Love Theme from Kiss better than I like this, to be honest. So that's just me. So yeah, that's my number 7.
Nice. 7 for me is My Way.
Mm.
And My Way pretty much just sums up what I think most Kiss fans disliked about the Crazy Nights era. Now, I don't have any specific issue with any of the 80s stuff or the Crazy Nights era, but some of my least favorite songs on that album are the really keyboard-heavy ones. Reason to Live and My Way and Turn on the Night even a little bit. But My Way kind of takes the cake above those others, at least for least favorite, just because this is the song where Paul kind of peaked in his unnecessarily high vocals.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little shrieky, Add that to all the keyboard heavy stuff, and it's just, not one that I prefer overall.
Absolutely. And then Seduction of the Innocent is David's number 7.
Nice.
All right, my number 6. Still picking on Paul here from his solo album, Hold Me, Touch Me. Yeah, just again, like Aaron Philpott, what's up, bro?
Good to see
you. Been a long time. 10 words, not necessarily in order. There you go. Can't wait to hear them. But yeah, Hold Me, Touch Me, man. Just God, just felt like it shouldn't have been on the album. It's, to me, like, that's kind of what Nothing Could Keep Me From You puts me in the mind of too, was like a modern day version of Hold Me, Touch Me.
Absolutely.
Even though I guess I would say I kind of like Nothing Can Keep Me From You better than Hold Me, Touch Me, though, at the same time. Yeah, Hold Me, Touch Me is just another one that it's just a little too sappy for me. I mean, that's just me, but so there it is.
Definitely, completely agreed. Number 6 for me. Sorry, David. Back to the Stone Age. I gotta agree. I am not a fan of most of Monster, if I'm being completely honest. But this song again kind of sums up what was wrong with that album for me. Just like you said, it was too hokey. The idea that the title came from the idea that they were recording analog instead of digital is hokey. I'll admit this though, for not being one of my favorite songs, I can sing the chorus in my head right now. So,
yeah.
I mean, you got to give them that.
It's easy to remember nursery rhymes. So.
Right.
That's like half the music that's out today. That's it's like a bunch of damn nursery rhymes. That's why everybody. Every time I puke on you. Oh shit. Number 5 for me. This one's probably gonna be a little like what for some people. Who knows? Comes off of Asylum, and it's All Night. I've just like I've said, I've just always kind of had a love-hate relationship with this song, and to me, it's just kind of boring. I don't know what it is. Like again, it was between this and Who Wants to Be Lonely. I've had that same thing with both of those songs, and I decided All Night was the one that kind of takes the cake per se. Just I don't know what it is. Just something about it. Just the flow of the song doesn't catch me enough. Boring. Don't touch my ascot. Nice. Didn't even
I'm now disappointed I didn't include both that and Samurai Son. Yeah.
Or the Rip and Destroy or the something like that. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's me All Night. I've simply just always had a weird thing with that song, and again, not that I hate it, but just not one of my favorites, obviously.
Yeah. And there's David with Radar for Love is his number 6. Nice. Number 5 for me is nobody will be surprised, but maybe some people will be surprised that it's not number 1. Number 5 for me is Talk to Me, which is the bane of my existence. But I'll admit that at this point, it's kind of become the equivalent of a meme for us. You know what I mean? There are many objectively worse Kiss songs than Talk to Me. The main thing that annoys me about this song is how often he repeats the title of the song in the chorus. It gets old instantly. After the first chorus, I don't want to hear that phrase anymore. Other than that, the song's not that bad. So, you know what I mean? It's just kind of a give and take, but I think that's Ace at his worst for annoying me personally.
Let's see. Well, Aaron's given us his top 10. We'll run through that real quick. Nothing Can Keep Me From You, Cadillac Dreams, Odyssey, Then She Kissed Me, Back to the Stone Age. There's 3 votes. Every Time I Puke on You, Any Way You Want It, Seduction of the Innocent, I Still Love You, which, yeah, that could be controversial, and Don't Touch My Ascot.
Wow. Very interesting list.
Very, very good too.
Definitely.
All right, so number 4 for me is My Way, which you discussed earlier. So basically, everything you said is I totally agree with, and on top of that, it reminds me of some like '80s like montage song for like some sports team that's trying to get better and win the town tournament or something like that. And
Totally.
it's like God, it's just so hokey. I'm sorry, but yeah. So my number 4.
Nice. My number 4, I struggled. I thought about putting this as number 1 least favorite, but I bumped it up here. Number 4 for me is When You Wish Upon a Star.
Mm.
And I think it's just, it's the pinnacle of wow, didn't see that coming, and not really in a good way for Gene's solo album. As we've discussed before, it's not necessarily that well performed, but I can't justify putting it at the bottom or even saying what I just said about it not being that well performed without acknowledging the reason
Right.
and the emotion that he put into that he wanted to keep the sincerity of that emotion, even if it meant keeping some questionable notes. That is pure artistry, and that has to mean more to him than almost any of his other songs that he's ever done.
Yeah.
So, I take it with a grain of salt there. Yeah, it's definitely not something that I go back to very often, but at least when I listen to it, I can feel that 100% heartfelt sincerity in his voice when he sings it, and at least that still speaks to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed a lot lately that it seems like in a lot of the recent interviews and stuff on the cruise that he's been bringing that up a lot more lately about When You Wish Upon a Star and the whole meaning behind it and everything. So kind of interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Aaron says, I agree, guys. It was tough for me to choose 10 songs for this. I personally like a lot of the stuff on my least favorite list. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a tough choice.
Yep. I don't hate a single Kiss song, not one.
Right.
So, yeah,
right.
Picking the ones that you like the least is still pretty difficult.
Yeah. There may be like, certain versions or like say edits of a song that we might hate as far as that goes, but not the actual song itself. If you guys understand what we're saying, but
right.
Thus our opinions on Sonic Boom Disc 2 a lot and
yeah,
things like that. All right, so we're into the top 3 now of the least favorites. So number 3 for me. Comes from Alive 2. It's Any Way You Want It.
Me too.
Very cool. Yeah. Cover of the Dave Clark 5 song, blah, blah, blah. It just, again, just felt like a throwaway just to fill that extra space and time on the side of the album. As much as I love those other, 3 songs or whatever on there that were the new ones, this one's just always kind of been the least favorite and kind of boring. It's like you're just waiting for it to go, A-B, blah, blah, blah. And then it's got that kind of Beatle-like ending, which was kind of weird for, a Kiss song too, and to end that whole album. Yeah, so what do you got to say on it?
Pretty much the same thing you did. It's just a boring song that, again, wasn't super well performed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even necessarily a big fan of the production style of a lot of those new songs on Alive 2, and this one I think got the worst of it.
Yes.
Where it sounds, the whole thing sounds thrown together, performed well, I guess, but boring song, and of course I would rather have a Kiss original any day over a cover, so that there's that.
Yeah, it's almost compared to the other tracks there, it's almost got that Hotter Than Hell type of treatment where like you can't even like really hear the hi-hats. Like the hi-hats have no like crispness to it.
Yeah.
And it just sounds kind of like a jumbled, mess in a way.
Mm-hmm. I always felt that mix was built around the 3-part harmony, which, to be frank, for me personally, isn't interesting enough to be the focal point of the mix.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like they originally had the idea of just doing it a cappella or something, and then they're like, no, just throw some drums on it, and a little bit something. Better throw some guitar. We didn't even at least get like a decent solo like we did with "Then She Kissed Me," and
yeah,
which is, by the way, a reason I didn't choose "Then She Kissed Me." It was because of that solo. It saved it.
Yep, same.
We've got "Eat Your Heart Out" from David, number 4. And speaking of "Then She Kissed Me," his number 3. So there you go.
Yep.
Number 2. This comes off of "Hotter Than Hell." "Coming Home." Just, again, like we were just kind of saying with the whole overall mastering and mix of the album itself, but this version of the song just lacks everything that the unplugged version has. Honestly, I wasn't a big fan of this song, and even before the unplugged thing. Like, once I heard that unplugged version, that's when I started becoming a fan of the song. Like, all those years, it was just one of them songs that I would just never pay attention to, or maybe I would skip it every now and then, when I was younger, stuff like that. But it just totally lacks. Even when they did the electric version on the cruise a few years back, I didn't even like how that turned out compared to the unplugged version. So yeah, just not a big fan of that.
Yeah, definitely. Number 2 for me, "Hold Me, Touch Me." Another similarity between the two of us, and yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head for that. A lot of these, when I went to choose them, I kind of went for things that kind of defined what was wrong with the album they were on, and I kind of feel like "Hold Me, Touch Me" does define the negative aspects of Paul's solo album. You got the great side, "Tonight You Belong to Me" and "Wouldn't You Like to Know Me" and "Move On" and stuff like that. And then there's the super forgettable ones like "Take Me Away," "Together as One." And then you got "Hold Me, Touch Me," which is just the culmination of the whole thing. It's like "I Finally Found My Way." It's like Peter's album. It's like "When You Wish Upon a Star." It doesn't sound like anything that they would have done. And honestly, this particular song also just is kind of annoying,
Yeah, totally agree. We have "Easy Thing" at number 2 from David, from Peter's album.
Right on.
Another track I like, so yeah. All right, number 1. Number 1 least favorite for me is "Detroit Rock City." Hear me out. The single edit of "Detroit Rock City." That is the most atrocious chop up destruction of a song I have ever heard. Not talking about Double Platinum, because I love that version, but if you guys aren't familiar with the single edit that was on the 45 version, go look it up, please. It's on the Casablanca singles set. God awful. I just cannot stand that. It is so unlistenable to me because they cut out a lot of the best parts of the song, to me, in my opinion. Just so chopped up. I mean, I felt like I could have done a better job to come up with and why edit it in the first place? It's not a super long song. Yeah. That's my first problem. But if you did need to edit it down by, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds for whatever reason, I felt like I could have done a better job.
Wow.
Just atrocious. I cannot stand that. I hate the fact that is part of that box set, that I had to pay money to have that crappy version in my collection. But kind of had no choice there, it's like you gotta take what you can get, just like a Peruvian hooker. So
that's very true. That's very true.
Please go check that version out if you guys haven't heard it for some reason, but I'm warning you.
Yeah. I feel pretty much the same way about my number 1 as well. And I just had to go with the smashes, thrashes, and hits. "I Love It Loud."
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of that either. Oh my God.
Oh, I feel the exact everything that you just said about that Detroit Rock City, almost, other than the "I Love It Loud" isn't edited.
Right. I kind of wish it was.
Yeah. This is the perfect example of a great song with a great sound that had everything that was great about it sucked out of it for the sake of a remix to try and, at the time, modernize it.
Yes.
Oh my God. They took the main thing that's missing from it is the huge reverb on the drums. I really think that's the main thing they changed about it is they either turned down or straight up muted that elevator shaft reverb that's on the drums for the entire Creatures album. And so, it makes the drums sound a little bit shorter and they've got that gated 80s reverb on them, but it doesn't make them sound huge like most 80s drums did. It makes them sound like little putts.
Mm-hmm.
The snare sounds like the sound putt.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, on Creatures, it's this huge thing, and that was the whole point of the drum intro. Do, do, da, do.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's do, do, da, do, da. So it just kills it. Everything that was great about that song, it sucks the energy out of it. Now it feels too slow. The guitars don't feel mean enough, which I would say that about the studio version, too, if I'm being completely honest. The guitars didn't feel mean enough there either, but especially now when you take that power away from the drums, the guitars feel like they're just barely there. And it turns this amazing, one of Kiss's best tracks into this pokey, this is disgusting. I wish they would leave stuff alone sometimes.
Even the version that's on that reissue of Creatures, I don't think is that bad from what I remember. Because I rarely ever listen to that version of Creatures anyway, so I can't remember exactly the difference of the mix now, but from what I recall, it's not as bad as that Smashes version. So yeah, I totally agree. I totally should have had that on my list too.
Yeah, I actually changed mine after we had gone live and started filming. Even I was looking at my list, and it suddenly occurred to me, and I was like, "Oh no, that has to be on there, and it has to be number one."
There you go. Yeah, there you go. And we have Mainline from David as his number one.
Wow.
Interesting, man.
Yeah. Very interesting list.
All right. So now let's get it to a little more positive side of things. Let's go to our 10 favorite songs of all time, which, yes, this is a hard list to come up with, too, because I know I'm already thinking of a few that I didn't put on here that I would have, but definitely honorable mentions and whatnot. And again, excited to see what you guys in the chat there are going to put as yours as well.
Right.
So again, we'll go 10-1 for the favorites here. How about you go ahead and start us this time?
Indeed. My top first one here, the number 10 for me is Danger. I feel like this is an oft forgotten track from Creatures that is still super energetic. Of course, an amazing vocal performance from Paul. One of the instances where they take something that shouldn't work and make it work. When you talk about that huge Creatures drum sound, obviously that's going to lend itself to slower songs that give that reverb more time to fill out. And Danger is pretty fast-paced.
Yeah.
So you'd almost think, well, that's just going to make everything too much. But not only is it not really too much, but even in the sections where it is like a barrage, that's what the feeling of the song is supposed to be. Danger.
Yes.
Stress, anxiety. So everything works together, and I love that song.
Yeah, very, very energetic. I felt like that song is a precursor to Exciter and Under the Gun. I mean, I feel like those three songs right there would probably all flow together great. If you listen to them back to back, I mean, my God, definitely one of the best up tempo Kiss songs to really get you fired up. My number 10 comes from Hot in the Shade. It is Forever. Again, like we talked about it just last week too with the Bruce thing, it really does again come down to that solo. I don't want to keep harping on it, but that's really the main thing that I love about the song is Bruce's solo on that acoustic, and then of course Eric's drumming right there is just as important, and Paul's vocals. It's just a fantastic, great song. I wish the overall mastering was a tad bit better on the final product, but thankfully it still does sound pretty good. All you gotta do is blast it a little bit, and it does the job. So, number 10 forever.
Nice. And David Smith, looks like Danger was also his number 10, and Shock Me was his number 9.
Nice.
My number 9, Calling Dr. Love. course, had to throw in as many classics as I could, and I feel like this is just classic Gene. His other persona, we all know the God of Thunder demon persona, and we talk about that a lot, but Dr. Love is more along the lines of like the Domino persona, the tongue-in-cheek kind of wink,
Mm-hmm.
better keep an eye on your wife and your girlfriend persona that Gene has. And I think this is just the perfect song for that.
Absolutely. Let's see. Number 9 for me also comes from Rock and Roll Over. That it is Ladies Room. Um, right there with what you were saying, it follows Dr. Love perfectly with that, I'm the sex god type thing. And I've just always loved that version on the album. Just it has that kind of feel that puts you in that good mood. And, the way those harmonies sound on the chorus. I love the way those sound, and Peter's drumming and everything. It's just a perfectly captured version. Thank God on the album. Again, was always a little iffy on the live versions of it. They were kind of more straightforward. Not horrible live. Like the Alive 2 and stuff, but I definitely think the album version takes the cake for me. It's definitely the version I go to way more than anything, and just I've always loved that groove that it has.
Definitely personifies classic Kiss.
Yes.
David Smith with Rock Bottom. Awesome.
Rock Bottom, cool.
My number 8 is Exciter. I'm a big fan of the 80s album openers. Almost all of them were just absolutely top tier, and then ended up, I feel like, going a bit underappreciated. It's not songs that they played very much, if ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad Bruce pulled this one out. That might have been one of the biggest surprises on Bruce's set list this year on the cruise, was to open with this, considering it's not one of his. It's not one he played when he was with them. Great fan service on his part to pull out this song that just perfectly opens Lick It Up and lets you know this is what you're in for.
Absolutely. That's a song that I would definitely flip out if Kiss pulled it out on a cruise.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like there's been some good surprises, but there's certain songs like that would, to me, be like the ultimate type of shockers,
Yeah.
Number 8 for me comes from Dressed to Kill, Rock and Roll All Night. That's basically the song that started it for me, of course, and probably a lot of people with their Kiss fandom is Rock and Roll All Night, and especially this version. As I've said numerous times, mainly, Kiss Meets the Phantom, that whole intro to the movie with that version playing. And then I just love the sound of the album version a bit. It definitely edges out the live version, even though that's great too. But that's how I've always felt about it, and I think it's part of a childhood thing. I just remember sitting and playing that 45 constantly. I'd flip it and play each version over and over and over. Just that song it's one of them songs that truly never gets old, and no matter how many times you hear it, and especially this version, to me, it always does a little more as far as like goosebumps or memories than when I hear the Alive version.
Definitely. Number 7 for me, I'm a Legend Tonight.
Ooh,
another deeper cut that I feel like they've largely ignored, which is crazy because I feel like Killers was such an important part, those 4 new songs, of what Creatures became. You know what I mean?
yes.
The Elder did what the Elder did, and they weren't sure what to do. I have to imagine Eric Carr was like, should I have joined this band? The audiences everywhere didn't care about Kiss. So not only was this them getting back to writing good old rock and roll songs and being amazing at it, just between Legend Tonight and Nowhere to Run, but also beginning their relationship with Michael James Jackson, who was then an important part of Creatures and Lick It Up, and even, as we found out a couple of years ago, the beginning of Animalize.
Yes.
I wish they had played this around this period of time. I think this would have gone okay in the Creatures sets. this one or Nowhere to Run, or at least in the later years, this is one that I think would be cool for them to pull out on a cruise or something.
Definitely. And I would love to see a box set come out for Creatures more than anything. And if Michael James Jackson was able to do even a new remix or remaster of that, just to hear what, oh man, do it.
Yes. I am gonna go blow my nose while you talk about your number 7. I will be right back.
Okay. We got Hate from Carnival of Souls, David's number 7. Okay, my number 7 comes from Alive 2. It is Making Love. I absolutely love this song, whether it's album or live version. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about this live version that just blows the studio version away. It's just full of that energy, that tempo. I mean, they're just rocking on this song. I mean, I still remember the first time I heard this. I'm like, this is heavy for Kiss. You know, it was just whoa, amazing. And it just flies by, and it never gets old. I love. I'm glad they kind of changed up the ending compared to what they did on the studio version. I like that a little bit better, but again, don't get me wrong. I love the studio version just as much. I was just listening to it in the car, I think, yesterday. But yeah, just this version takes it for me. So yeah, my number 7 was Making Love from Alive 2. Just talking about how much I love that. I mean, I love the studio too, but this version just edges it out because, man, that energy and the fire that you could hear, like they're just playing that so heavy and fast compared to the studio version. And man, I love that. I go to that song probably the most if I put something on from Alive 2 lately.
Nice.
We have Dangerous, number 6 from David.
Awesome. Yeah. That's one that I've always really liked from Sonic Boom too, and I feel like I don't hear a lot of people bringing that one up. That's cool to see.
Yes.
My number 6 is Parasite. So I would be remiss if I didn't include some of the unnaturally heavy stuff from the early Kiss days. And honestly, I argued with myself a little bit. Parasite or Watching You.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up edging Parasite out because that riff is just blazing. Great early Ace going on right there, and then yep, perfect time period for them too. That's a song that I have pushed several bands that I've been in to do and rarely got in my way.
All right, number 6 for me comes off the first album, which surprisingly this is the first time this album's been mentioned in both lists. Nothing to Lose. This is another one that just, man, puts you in such a good mood, and it's so freaking catchy, and dance along, all that good stuff. And again, the live version doesn't hold a candle to this version for me. Especially with the piano in there, and just the way the harmonies sound on the recording, and Peter's voice, all that good stuff. Man, it's just one of them great, another feel good song that just never gets old. And I could listen to that song over and over and over and just never get tired of it. It's just it's a shame that they don't play it anymore. I think it would still go over great, even with Eric. I think he would do a good job with the vocal, like what Peter did on it and stuff. So yeah, would love to hear them pull this out again, but I'm pretty sure we won't. So
yep. Number 5 for me, I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. Another 80s album opener that they played a couple of times and then ditched. This is for the same reason that I love Exciter. I love this song, although I think I like this one a little bit more than Exciter, at least right at this very moment. It just does the same thing for Animalize that Exciter does for Lick It Up. You just immediately know, oh man, this album's going to be heavy. It's going to be fast. It's going to kick me in the balls, and I'm going to like it. Yeah.
A lot being kicked in the balls. Let Me Go Rock and Roll is David's number 5. Very cool.
Very nice.
All right, so my number 5 comes from MTV Unplugged. It's Coming Home. So there you go. Two different versions of the same song on each list, but again, like I mentioned with that studio version compared to this, just nothing more needs to be said as many times as we have praised this version of the song and how great it is, and that's really all that needs to be said. We've said so much about it on plenty of episodes, and especially on that episode of Unplugged. So if you're not sure, just please go back and watch that. Chief Broken Arrow, what's up? Good to see you.
Yeah, nice.
We just finished top 10 least favorite Kiss songs of all time, and now we're about halfway through the top 10 favorite Kiss songs of all time. So feel free if you want to throw your list in for both real quick. We'd love to see those too. Aaron, if you're still here, man, we'd like to get your top 10 favorites. So feel free to get those in as well.
Yeah, we're making a nice list here between me, you, and David.
Yeah,
hitting all the plates. So number 4 for me is Detroit Rock City. And yeah, I'm not usually the one to go for the obvious ones, but this is one that you just simply cannot deny.
Right.
This is classic Kiss. Everything that was great about them in that time period is personified right here in Detroit Rock City. A song about a car crash. Come on. That's awesome. And, the performances are all great. The guitar solo is one of the highlights for sure. It's not often you get a cool double guitar solo in a Kiss song, but this one is like, this is, if I had to make a list of top double guitar solos of all time, this would have to be on there. You know what I mean? And that alone. And then it's also a good song even without that. So it had to be here. It had to be here.
Yeah, when it's the type of song where the crowd can hum the solo or something while it's going on, that's when you know it's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, it's followed up by another killer dual solo with King of the Nighttime World. I think that's a great one too.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4 for me comes from Alive, and it is Deuce. Just can't deny, how great that version is. My God, that's one of those quintessential Kiss songs, in my opinion, that, like I said with Black Diamond earlier, it's like that's one of them songs that I just, it puts you in that moment and you picture what the band was like at the time, and you could, every time I listen to this version, you could just picture those Kobo videos in your head of them performing it, and such a great version of it. It's just, I love the energy of it and the overall mix and everything. It's just a killer version that definitely edges out the studio version again because of the tempo and just again you could just feel that energy and that just we're here to kick your ass and own this place. You can just hear it when you're listening to that version. That's what I've always loved about it.
Definitely. All right, top 3. My number 3 here is Black Diamond, and I think this may be one of the best closing tunes of all time, either for live or for an album. This was the perfect way to end the debut album, and then I'm so glad that they would at least end the first portion before the encores of their show with this for a long time throughout their career. They used the song for that. And it just holds that way. I can't picture any song in my head that matches that epicness, getting the audience participate in the beginning with the cool, clean guitar pick and the Paul thing, and then having Peter do his thing throughout the rest of the song. Super catchy. No clue what it means, but just everything else about it is absolutely perfect.
I guess the rumors are that it's about a prostitute, so maybe she was Peruvian.
I hope so. I hope so.
And I tell you, even in recent years when they started doing that thing at the end where they just the spotlight hits and they all just freeze and hit that spot, and it just the silhouette that spotlight creates. I mean, I've never seen such a cooler image in person in my life. I mean, it is so powerful every time you see that. I'm like, oh, and and that's just something that they started adding to it with, I don't know, 5-10 years, something like that, maybe. Watching you, David's number 4.
Nice.
My number 3, coming off of Love Gun, is Christine 16. Again, I'm a sucker for these feel good songs that because that's a lot of what Kiss is about. For me, it's just they put you in a good spirit. A lot of people talk about how their music can help you if you're in a bad situation, if you're feeling down or upset about something. These are the kind of songs that I always kind of turn to when I'm thinking of those kind of feelings and wanting to feel better if something's bringing you down. And a song like Christine, I don't think about the the topic of the song. It's the music, the way the catchiness of it is, and again that chorus and everything, the way it hits, it's just got that good vibe and upbeat, and just people dancing along and all that good stuff. It's I just always loved it. Great song.
Absolutely. Number 2 for me is Unholy. I think this is just hands down one of the best Kiss songs of all time. Of course, for the time period it was in, it was that return to form for Gene's Demon persona, which was good to see since we hadn't had that for a long time throughout the 80s. And this is Kiss coming into the 90s full power with something new, something they hadn't done before. Sure, they had done heavy before, but not quite like this.
Yes.
And I think Unholy pulls that off better than any other song on Revenge, even. And just that they knew they were onto something if they let an album start with a Gene song. How often do they do that?
Right.
And that's one that I show. If my metal friends that aren't necessarily big Kiss fans and aren't that familiar with their work ask, what song should I listen to that might change my mind? This is usually one that I'm going to point them in the direction of.
Absolutely. Yeah, like for us, it kind of felt like what it must have felt like when Creatures first came out after, getting that little string of albums where people kind of was like, and then Creatures comes and you're like, whoa. So kind of, and again, I'm not saying all the albums up until Revenge were horrible, but again, you kind of had that weird, people were kind of jumping off and on, and then here comes Revenge, and it's like, holy cow, like that's what they've missed, and and then even the look, like they finally found the right look, all that stuff, and so yeah, very 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 good choice right there. That's another one that I definitely should have picked, or I would have. Let's see. 100,000 Years, any version, especially the Alive, is David's number 2. Good choice. Did we mention Jungle as his number 3?
Got that on there too. That's cool to see. That's 2 Carnival songs on David's top list. That's awesome, man.
Hell yeah. All right. And then we'll just go ahead here. Number 2 for me comes off of Gene's solo album, Radioactive. Again, not to repeat, but put this in the category with Christine, and like I said, Ladies Room, Nothing to Lose, same kind of vibe I get with that song. And again, I love that whole intro piece. Again, thinking back to my childhood, that intro thing used to freak me the hell out. It was hard for me to even listen to it because I would get scared and turn it off, and I'd rarely be able to make it to the song. And then thankfully when I finally did, I realized how cool of a song it was, and how catchy and everything, and even the next 2 songs after it. But when I was real little, I'd put the tape on and I'd think to myself, okay, I'm gonna play drums to this, and that intro come on, and I'd get up and turn it off like, nope. He's freaking out. And of course I was like, 21 when this happened, so no.
Naturally, yeah. No, I was hanging out with Eli the other week, and he did the same thing happen, just like last week.
Yeah, Luke had to change my diaper, and yeah, I huddled in a corner. I was like, "Tell me it's not real.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a song."
Oh
Number
yeah,
one, huh?
we're there. We're there already. Oh man, so it for me it had to be King of the Mountain.
Mm,
This is again with the '80s opening songs. Actually, a lot of the songs on my top 10 are openers. Now that I'm looking at it,
yeah.
uh, apparently I'm just a big fan of the opening song. Uh, this is one that every time I hear people say bad things about the '80s era of Kiss, and especially bad things about Asylum, I'm like, but did you hear King of the Mountain? Because like, come on, man, you got those huge, not maybe not Creatures huge, but huge drums with that awesome intro. That's something that Eric Carter or Peter, meant to say, that's something that Peter never would have been able to do in his wildest dreams.
That'd have
Um,
been great if they tried.
oh man. And then you got the amazing solo from Bruce, killer vocal performance from Paul. Not sure if Gene's on the song, but that's the '80s for you. Uh, and just such an amazing song. Awesome chorus harmonies. The verse is exciting. The whole song is that up and energetic in your face. Again, it lets you know what you're going to get for most of the rest of the album. And it just every time I hear this song, this was one of the first songs that I got really into when Kiss stopped being a band that I liked because it played around the house while I was young and
Mm,
turned into I'm going to start listening to this of my own volition because I enjoy it. This was, obviously would have been one of the first songs I heard because I was going for the '80s albums. I was super into guitar players that could play real fast. So, that's what I gravitated towards was the uh, Lick It Up and Animalize and Asylum. So this would have been one of the first ones that came on and, hooked immediately.
absolutely. Hooked on rock and roll.
Yes.
So Luke admitted his Kiss fandom there. He only really knows the first songs on all the albums, and
That's it. Yeah.
that's why
I,
that's what he's chosen for everything.
I just turn it off after that. Really, I
Yeah.
have the current generation's attention span. See, I can't even pay attention long enough to say the sentence.
What's next? What's next?
Yeah,
Now, I'll be the first to eat crow about that album because like I talked about in the past, all those years that I would only give that album the attention that I did, which was only a couple songs, and again, kind of judging the book by the cover, and then thank God, mainly for this show and when we first did that album that first time, like I said, it just right then and there it opened my eyes, and I'm like, wow, like this album's actually pretty heavy for that matter. Not
yeah,
forget the glam look and all that. It ain't no. So yeah, I was definitely one of the first to eat crow about that album, and it's now I like damn near the whole thing. So
right, right.
all right, my number one is "I Store Your Love" from Love Gun. Again, I just felt like that's the kind of quintessential Kiss in their prime, picturing how things must have been at that time period. Plus, to kick off the album and to kick off the tours, and such a killer song. I mean, my God, it just everything about that is just power and fantastic solo, which mainly is Paul for the most part of it, which you don't hear a lot, I believe. Correct?
Yeah,
So, yeah, just one of them Kiss songs that, again, is probably one of the most, representative that I would pick as like, here, listen to this, check it out, tell me what you think. Um, and again, that album in general, that was my favorite Kiss album for years and years until, Creatures, snuck past it. Let's see, what do we got? David's is also "I Store Your Love," but the Alive 2 version, great version too. No problem with that.
yeah.
What do we got? B40, welcome. Favorite is Not for the Innocent. Least favorite
Very nice.
Watching You. Okay.
Yeah. Right on, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I sit here and think to myself like, gee, I didn't put any Creature song on here on my top 10, but for me it was kind of hard to do that because I love that album so much as a whole that I guess that's kind of a reason I didn't pick any of the songs. I wanted to pick the Millennium Concert as a whole and put that on my least favorite just as one of my picks. The entire Millennium Concert, number 4 or whatever,
Yep. I was thinking I had 3 or 4 Monster songs written on there until I started to think about other stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can't just populate the whole list with Monster.
Absolutely. So that's that. There's our list there. We appreciate you guys giving your choices there. By the way, Chief Broken Arrow, his top 3 was I Stole Your Love, Exciter, and Creatures of the Night. So there you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
Great top 3 there.
We all love the album openers.
Oh, and then I missed David's number 2 being 100,000 Years, especially the Alive version, Amen. Fantastic. That's another one that I would have put on my list had it been a little longer, but I had to definitely get Deuce on there. So, but 100,000 Years is definitely another one that would have been on there. So yeah, that was our list. We again, like I was starting to say, we appreciate you guys chipping in the chat. Please continue to do so. And again, if you're watching this after live, please post your picks in the comments as well, or on the Facebook group. We definitely want to hear them all. So a lot of great choices from everybody here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many podcasts about this band.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Too many good songs.
And, these kind of topics, we could do it 6 months from now, and it'd probably be different.
Completely different. Yep.
That's the beauty of it. But, we're thinking of some other ideas along these lines, like maybe ranking, 10 favorite music videos, something like that we've never really done. Also, there was an idea kicked to us a little while back about ranking the album covers. That's something else we have coming down the pike.
Definitely.
And then, of course, we'll eventually jump around and hit some more album reviews here and there. I definitely would like to do a big review of this Destroyer box set once we get it.
Oh, definitely.
That would be, it might have to be a 2-part episode because of how much stuff comes with it. So, it'd probably be too long of a show if we tried to squeeze everything into one episode. That's definitely something I would like to do as well. What's this? Off topic. Saw Paul tweet about reconnecting with Billy Squier. He would be great opening act for dude. That would be killer. I would love to see Billy Squier. Big fan of a lot of his music. Hell, have Bruce come out and play a little bit with him. Some of that stuff from that one album.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, big fan of a lot of his stuff. And like we were saying a week or two ago, whenever it was, would much rather hear some live music as an opening act than a painter. No offense to anyone that might love that, but we've been there, done it, seen it. Once was enough for us, and it's sad enough that David Lee Roth had dropped off the tour, and so now we're back to this, and now we're back to pretty much throwing a dart at a dartboard whether or not these shows are going to happen that are scheduled or get scheduled. Again, we're still sitting here with no mention of our Dayton show that got postponed, quote unquote, of a new date, and a lot of people in this area are starting to get the feeling that we kind of don't think it's ever going to happen, to be honest, and that sucks. So might have to end up getting refunds and all that crap. So, but hopefully they can somehow squeeze it in and make it work. And who knows? We're all just kind of waiting. So, yeah, very cool. That would be awesome to have Billy Squier maybe start opening up somehow, or something to that effect would be nice. No matter what the case. All right. So I think that wraps us up then. I do believe. All right. So once again, as always, please go over to the Facebook group. Join the Facebook group if you haven't, and please put your votes in for the matchups for this week. And if you've missed any of the other ones, well, I mean, I guess you could probably still at least comment and give an opinion or something. We love to hear it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Please spread the word for that too. Or I'm not sure where we're at subscriber wise, but we appreciate all the support. And let's see. I think that does it. And also, yeah, don't forget, leave your list in the comments. And also, again, if you got the new Destroyer box set, let us know what version you got. Let us know your thoughts. Maybe your favorite parts of the of the set, or least favorite parts, as far as some of the demos and whatnot. And Javier, we're calling you out, man. We want to know if you made that score, and we want to see what you got and hear some cool stuff. So we'll be looking forward to that. Also, tune in to our buddies Kiss and Tail pretty soon. I know, I believe here in a few days, we're going to be doing the final round of that music trivia tournament that we had taken part in. So I do believe the final match is finally taking place this weekend. So please be on the lookout for that. I'm sure Chris will share the link on our page, group page, once the video's up and ready to go. So please check that out as well. Be looking out for that. All right. Well, shoot, I guess Thanksgiving will be here and gone. So hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving if you're here in the States. And, if you're planning on doing all that crazy shopping and stuff the next day, have fun, be careful. Good luck to you. So, hey, if you're bored and you're standing in a long line, pull up our channel and listen to an old episode or something to help the time go by. All right. So everyone have a great holiday. Eat plenty. I know we're going to. We're going to buy some Peruvian hookers and eat them as well. Wait. What?
Naturally. No, wait, oh, yeah. Right.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks again for coming and checking us out, all that good stuff. We love you all, and we'll see you soon. Later.